Hey guys, MissFlips here, and today we are going to be flipping this table into this table. So, this is my first video ever on this channel. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what it's going to be about. My mission is to save enough money
to pay for a down payment on a house.
Just by flipping furniture. So we're gonna see if we can do that. We're gonna see if we can save, hopefully, $20,000. Anything above would be cool. Today is my first piece ever. I do not claim to be a professional at all, so if you guys see me doing something wrong, call me out on it and give me tips, because I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, if you guys like what you see and want to subscribe, that'd be cool. If not, that's fine too. I will be posting all of my little products and stuff down in the description below, so if you guys see something that you like, all of that stuff will be in the description. So look out there for the stuff. Anyways, let's get flipping. So as you can see here, it's in pretty bad shape. We have, you know, this kind of weird color of paint. It's like a dirty, off-white, yellowish kind of paint job, and it's chipping. The drawer is just in shambles. It fell apart when I was carrying it to my car. So first off, we're gonna start by taking off the hardware, and I'm just using a simple screwdriver there and just unscrewing the back. But then when I took off the handle, I realized what I thought was wood was actually paper. So I ended up having to sand that all off of the face of the drawer, which was actually a longer process than I thought it would be, probably simply because of the sander that I was using. I was all proud of myself thinking that I got a great deal on a $10 sander at you know, a thrift store, and then quickly realized that there was a reason why it was $10. As you can see, I just got it all nice and clean, got all of that paper, whatever that was glued onto it. Then now I'm just gonna clean it off. Just made sure to get all the sawdust off and everything. Just sanding down the board to make sure all that paper is off. I didn't really like the paper that was in there, plus it was ripped. So yeah, I just went in there and sanded it off. So I noticed that there was this white paint that was on the insides of some of the drawers. So I just went ahead and sanded that off as well. Just cleaned it up, made sure there was no other scuffs. I originally thought that I was going to be staining the drawers, so I was just cleaning it and preparing it for the stain. But I don't remember why, but I ended up painting the interior black and then staining the outside of the drawer so that when you opened it, there was that beautiful natural wood on the outside of it as well. So this bottom piece of the shelf was coming up a little bit, so I just decided to go in there with a little bit of glue and just give it some reinforcement, you know, as it was falling apart in my hands, quite literally, as I was carrying it out of the shop. But yeah, so then I just used a little clamper thingy guy, whatever it's called, and screwed it tight and left it to, you know, dry. I decided to go with black for the rest of the piece and just do the front of the drawer and the top of the table in this nice rich dark stain that you see. And so I decided to go in and sand the edges and then paint them with this matte black paint. And I'm using a synthetic brush here, And this is an oil-based paint, which I quickly realized that I didn't like just because it kind of had like a sticky feel after it, even if I let it dry for a couple of days. So I think from now on I'm gonna use water-based paint. I'll find valid in your eyes. I decided to leave the label of the drawer in there unpainted. I wanted people to be able to see the original maker of the drawer as well. And here's my first attempt at trying to get the paint off. It wasn't working with the sander, so I ended up going in there with a paint thinner. And now that I've done a little bit more research, I have now found that you should not use these little tiny thin latex gloves because the paint thinner will just go right through them. And you should definitely not be doing this barefoot. You should definitely have some sort of protection on your feet because this stuff is some pretty heavy chemicals. So you don't want it to get into your skin or mouth or anything like that. As you can see, I'm wearing a shirt as a mask that is folded up really well so that I can, you know, apply it safely without having to breathe in it. But the paint thinner works really, really well. I was actually very, very happy with it compared to the sander, but maybe, as I've said before, it would have been a lot easier if I had gotten a different sander by this point in the process. But that's okay. Like I said, it's a learning process. You always feel so far when your stars have burnt out and your heart. So I went in there and tried to get the paint off of the paper, but then realized that it was just gonna come off anyways, so I decided to leave it because originally I had planned on staining the sides of the table as well. I wanted to have those really intricate designs, a nice wood stain finish, but then I realized that they were paper, so I couldn't take them off. So I ended up just painting them black like the rest of it, but as you can see, the top of the table is looking great. I was able to get all that paint off there so that it looks all nice and pretty and fresh. You'll always be my nice guy. And I just cleaned off all the sawdust and everything, wiped it down, and now we're getting to the staining process. I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the Tahoe close, it starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I also wanted to make sure I got every little bit of this piece, so I did flip it upside down once the top of it was dry and go in for a second coat and detail touch-ups here and there, just to make sure I covered all of the piece. I didn't want any, you know, patches missing in those little round crevices, and yeah, just gave it a second coat. And now we're just gonna be gluing the drawer together. I just made sure to get them in the creases, and although this is a dovetail drawer, it still was very loose and didn't really stay together very well. So I just reinforced it with some glue, got it in all the little nooks and crannies here. And once that was done, I just went in and cleaned up any of the wet glue that would be sticking out. just to give it a nice clean finish. Hey guys, so we're on day 2 of the table remodeling, and if you'll notice here, there are some scuffs on the table, and I'm just gonna go in and try to fix those with some stainable wood filler that I got from Home Depot. So we'll see if that works. Hopefully it does. So I now know that this was just the wrong way to go about this. I tried applying it to like each and every hole, but it was just too difficult. There was just too many holes, and it was just leaving like patches. Wood filler, I feel like, is just for little dings here and there, but not when your whole entire table is covered with them. But I did try sanding them off. I tried doing what I could. I tried to go in there and restain it, but as you can see, even the stainable wood filler just didn't work. Okay, so I hate to admit it, but this was just like such a learning process for me that I just decided not to film the rest of this, just because it was a lot of trial and error. So I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about what I did, and hopefully give you an idea of how not to do it in the future. So yeah, after I saw all those nicks and everything, and I tried fixing it with wood filler and it didn't work, I ended up just buying a new good sander from Home Depot. I think it only costed me like 60 bucks or something. But again, I'll list those products in the bottom there. But yeah, it just paid off so much. It made it so much easier, and it got all of those dings out. I was able to sand it down with a nice, I think it was a 120 grit sandpaper, and that got all of the dings out. I just completely shredded that surface, and then went in there with a 200 grit, so it really smoothed it out, made it nice and soft. And then I went back and stained it, and then put a sealer on everything once everything was dry. Did a few little touch-ups here and there with the black paint. And then I sanded the whole surface, just a light scuff sand, nothing crazy, to prepare it for that second coat of sealer. And then yeah, then came the staging process. So I did take these photos here. As you'll notice, I made sure to show that lovely ridged paper, the surface of the table, and the drawer, what could be put in it. You want to give people an idea of what this table could be used for. Also, you do want to make sure that you take off all of your staging accessories, just to be sure that people know that you're not trying to hide anything. So you want to make sure that you're really being transparent and showing all the dings, showing all the flaws and blemishes. All right, so let's go over costs. So the table itself costed $25, and then the sander costed $64.99, so we have a grand total price of $94.99. I would like to place it on Facebook Marketplace for $150, so we'll see if that happens, and if it does, that gives me a grand profit of $55. Thank you guys so much for watching that. It was an exciting and definitely a learning experience, so thank you for bearing with me there. A lot of stuff was learned. This took me way longer than I thought it was going to, just because of all those little hiccups that I ran into, but now, you know, I know better going forward, and it was all a learning curve, and it was great. So yeah, I'll catch you on the flip side. Is that cheesy to say? Maybe? Probably, yeah. I should. Okay. Alright guys, so since posting that item, I've actually learned a lot more about furniture flipping, and I've learned that coffee tables aren't exactly like your high-priced items. So now in the future, I am definitely going to be doing a lot more like dressers or or couches or chairs or stuff like that, just because you can buy them for a lot cheaper and sell them for a lot higher. But I did list it on Facebook Marketplace about 5 days ago and had to lower my price to $132. So hopefully that will sell in the next couple of days, fingers crossed. But I will let you guys know, and I will put the updated sale price in the description below whenever it does actually sell. So yeah, stay tuned.